talk.
Yeah.
Legal reasons.
Committed.
He's kind of a cuck.
Pretty good record.
Unique situation.
Scandal.
My iPhone was destroyed this morning.
Cover up. I need to be the person talking about whatever thing.
We're not talking about that. Hello. Welcome. Circle is square. This is episode 12.
That's correct. Welcome, everybody. Nice for you to be with us again. You know, I was kind of thinking the other day about how I noticed all these things about myself, having like done this thing where we record ourselves talking, and I never realized how fucking fast I talk. You know?
Or how fat you are.
Or how fat I am. I looking.
I talk fast too.
No, I just noticed someone was like, God, you talk really fast, Ben. I was like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should slow down a little bit. Also, I also noticed that I say instead of see, you don't mess that up, Blake.
It's because you have all these wires on top of it, Benjamin.
I keep saying algorithm instead of algorithm. I noticed that. It's like I said it in my head wrong like one time a long time ago, and then now I just
I don't know how well you can hear that, but I got a sampling machine now. We only have 2 samples. It's and so that's new to the show.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they'll even be able to hear that. So
It'll make a splash. It'll stay.
It might make a fucking splash.
So
Let's tell you what made a splash.
The blood on the ground of all the people that keep getting shot at Westroads Mall for some reason here in Omaha. It's like,
Jesus Christ.
No, I don't know. It's when people feel like they want to go a shooting, they like to go to this. They love to go to this mall in Omaha called Westroads.
It was gang related. The shooting that happened.
Yeah, and I think the last couple were. It was just like people in the parking lot, and these kids that did the shooting this time looked like they were like 12 years old. They're like little kids.
16 and 18.
Really? Oh, they just look. The picture just
they
looks.
They arrested them today.
Yeah, damn. Well,
I don't want to talk about shootings though. Do we have any like child sex trafficking stuff we could talk about on a lighter note?
Well, it so happens those same kids who did the shooting.
Word up.
They're both from Boys Town.
Were they really?
No.
Cooler if they were.
But yeah, the only really like big, national news mass shooting thing that happened in Omaha was like the Westroads Mall Von Mar shooting.
It wasn't a mass shooting. It was one person.
No, it was one person who shot. But I'm saying Von Mar when that happened.
Retro?
Yeah, like 2006 or whatever that was, 2007.
Throwback Thursday.
It is a throwback. This dude who went to my high school fucking decided to go ape shit.
Dude, the day that happened, I went and saw Avril Lavigne and Simple Plan in concert at Mid-America Center.
Oh, wow. I think I saw Simple Plan one time at Sokol Auditorium.
Simple Plan, dude.
They used to have this place. Well, they still have it. It's still here. There's a big theater in Omaha. This like big like old Gothic looking theater, and they have.
I love how you talk to our fans like they're not all from Omaha.
I know.
Like we have fucking fans from all over the world.
Well, hey, apparently our friend from Detroit was listening to the podcast last week.
Shout out to her.
Blake was confessing her love to her. My mom apparently was also listening, and then she was like, "Well, I turned it off after you guys started talking about some." Weird stuff.
What did we talk about that was so weird for that nasty little trick?
Because as soon as I started talking
Nancy,
about that dude Mikey, I was talking about how we wanted to like have threesomes and stuff. I'm assuming that's what my mom was talking about.
Oh God, your mom's such a square.
Oh goodness, but yeah, that whole thing at Westroads a long time ago was crazy. But yeah, I mean, who cares? It's been forever, right?
Yeah,
let's do something. Let's do something about it, right? No, it was when I was either a senior or junior in high school, so it would have been 7 or 8.
Thoughts and prayers, baby. Mm-hmm. Thoughts and prayers.
That's all we can do.
Dude, that is all we can do. And at the end of the day, we're all just lone gunmen in our own lives.
What
do you think of that FedEx little bitch?
Oh, I didn't even really look into that, but was it someone who worked there?
Yeah, he was only 19. He looked like a little fucking.
Was he white?
He looked like Or incel.
Yeah.
He looked like an incel.
These kids, man.
Yeah, that's what I should have put for sample for.
We
Incel.
need to get them out and fucking having sex with prostitutes or whatever. It's gonna help them like not shoot up stuff. It's always like, yeah, it's just always men.
Wait,
you know?
so I did want to ask you about this. How do you pick the photos for the episode? Can we pose for one real quick?
we could do it. I mean, like I always just take a thing, going across.
That's kind of cool. Oh wait, let's do one more. I'll do this. All right, you do the circle, and How do you do square? Because it's gonna be flipped.
Well, it looks like I know, but it looks like white power.
Yours does. Mine doesn't.
Here, let me not do that.
Illuminati. Let's do Illuminati. What other cool hand signals could we do? We should do some challenges on this podcast. We should challenge each other to do stuff like holding our breath competition.
Or like
that.
push-ups. I'd win push-ups.
No,
easy.
Dude, well, it's not fair. Your fucking gut's 6 inches off the ground.
Go to the gym.
He goes to
I
the
look
gym
like I have big
and
titties.
He came today and he goes, there was this guy at the gym today. Biggest dick.
He did.
That's the only reason you go to the gym.
He did have a very huge dick. Well, here's another thing. I've actually always wanted to kind of go down this rabbit hole ramp, but girls, if you ever hear your gentleman talking about like thinking that other guys are checking him out at the gym, or like thinking some dudes are like coming onto them at the gym, if any dudes like have a secret frustration with people, thinking people are checking you out the gym, it's totally true and it's totally justified. And there's a million that's like where like gay creeps go to die, dude. There's all these like old and it's so funny because people talk about like old men like walking around naked, and how disgusting it is. And it's like, well, it must have just been, it's because they're used to it from back when they were in school. They did that or whatever. I actually do not think that's true. Oh fuck!
You know what you look like right now?
Spilled all over my fucking.
Do you know
laptop.
what you look like right now?
What?
You look like 21st century rave version of Elton John with his fucking glasses on. You look like you're in the band LMFAO, but also like Elton John.
All I gotta say is though, I feel like these old men, like they know that they're like fat and like kind of gross looking, and like their wives don't want to look at them anymore, and like they can't like get erections anymore, and I think that they want to they want someone to see them naked, even if it's like by force, and I think that's why they do it. I think they really just want like someone to see them naked. But yeah, a lot of dudes,
I think you're projecting.
Dude, there's a lot of dudes who just like go there, and I'm like, this guy sure has taken a lot of showers, like that's all he's doing is just like taking a shower and then like going around and he takes another shower, It's just like there's like a million dudes who do that. Plus, when I was walking to my locker today, someone had left their phone by the locker, and I saw that he had Grindr open, and it was like a message thread going. I was like, yeah, okay. I know what you people are up to, trying to cop looks, and then no matter what, it's like you go to the shower and some dude like always follows you, like the same dude every time. That always happens to me.
I don't have this fucking problem.
Well, that's Jim's for you.
What are you drinking
It is
today?
true. I'm drinking White Claws. I bought
Why
some
don't you
for you.
show
for me,
fucking? Why
and
don't
I
you
spilled one on my computer
why
a
don't
little
you
bit.
put it up on the thing so we can maybe get fucking sponsorship? Jesus Christ!
Well,
We talked about this before we started.
not too many people, watch the video.
There ain't
but
no
I do
claws.
think the videos are pretty good.
There ain't no laws when you drinking the claw.
It is correct.
White Claw.
No, that is true about gyms though. So yeah, men, if you have an apprehension to hanging out in locker rooms at gyms, you're totally justified, because there'd be creeps. But also, yes, this guy was showering at the gym, and he was like probably 6'4" or 6'5", kind of dark skinned, maybe half Latino, half Asian or something. His dick was enormous.
You're like
Enormous.
If the gay pride parade took over ISIS, because you hijack every fucking
Well, he's
podcast.
like a shower. He's like a shower probably too.
Every podcast you hijack with just...
Well, it's stuff that happens. We could get into some things that happened this week, or we can shoot the shit a little more. I don't know how much more shit you have to shoot.
I have a lot of
You were
shit to shoot.
Yeah,
but
you were thinking you were gonna like kick my ass like a million times today.
Oh yeah, you've been annoying today for sure. For sure.
How?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just kind of done hanging out with gay people. I think.
Why?
It's just annoying.
They are kind of annoying. I think. Well, I mean, I don't have any gay friends. I only have straight friends. I'm trying to come into your guys' circles.
That's because
all the
every
straight guys
gay
don't
person that you meet, you fucking literally like, they run from you.
Why do they run? Why do they run from me?
I don't know.
Not every gay person. I actually generally don't. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, I don't really want to move from Omaha because I actually kind of like Omaha, and I like the scene here. I like the houses here. It's really pretty in the summertime and the fall time and stuff. But like, there's just not enough people. There's probably like 3 or 4 like gay dudes. Like you think about, I'm not talking about
3 or 4 gay people in all of Omaha.
No, that are in like the scene that we hang out in. Do you know what I mean? Like the DIY music
scared them all away.
art scene or whatever.
You scared them all fucking away.
And I'm not counting like, non-binary, I don't have a gender or whatever people.
Yeah, you never did agree with any of that stuff.
No, I'm just saying as far as like actual like gay men, there's not too many of us.
I would say 2
and then
is
if
too
I'm
many.
not, yeah, and then if I'm not attracted to anyone, it's kind of like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do?
I don't think that's your main problem. I think your main problem is none of them are attracted to you.
That's also an issue. It's always like when you're attracted to people, the other person's like never attracted to you. I kind of hate that,
I don't have that problem.
And you can finally find someone, but then they like want something else, or
Like a woman?
they're just looking to fuck. I think I am actually just gonna like be straight after this whole debacle
Dude,
that I've had.
do not ruin my club.
Well, I've been thinking about it because, it's just like I hate like being the gay dude sometimes. I hate like fucking like.
God, we can really tell. You don't talk about it enough. I can only imagine how much you hate being gay by how often you talk about it.
It is fun. It's been fun, but I think the fun's almost over.
You think it was a phase?
Dude's booty's fucking ruined it for me, dude. These hoes, they really did ruin it for me.
Dude, I always said it was a phase. I knew you were straight secretly.
I'm like easing back into it. Like the last like 3 times I've had sex is like been with a V.
Nuh-uh. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's disgusting.
What do you mean?
I liked you better when you were gay.
Oh yeah, now I'm just like a perv.
I liked you better when you were gay.
You've been talking all day about how you hate gay people.
I don't hate gay people. I hate hanging out with gay people.
Oh, okay. Because I was telling Blake, I was like, well, hey, when this pandemic's over, like, Blake's never been on an airplane before. Can you believe that shit? Blake's never been on an airplane. He's also never been like, the furthest you've been is like San Antonio, away from home.
It's like a pretty far ways away.
It's not that far away.
It's almost out of the country.
We should go to like Mexico.
Dude, no. I told you how I feel about Mexicans.
We should. I love how like it's like
we're so get canceled.
We're like not comedians, so we can't really like.
I'm
say,
fucking a funny person.
I know, but
my goal is to be a comedian.
It's not
you're
like
not
hey,
funny
we're
at all.
Comedians,
If you said something like that, people would probably believe it.
No, it's because I sound like I'm serious all the time. Like I have such like a
fucking
serious
white
demeanor.
nationalist. You're dressed
Yeah,
like
right.
one today too.
You think
what
so?
time is your appointment to storm the Capitol? Code blue. The fuck? Fucking chin beard and all.
Chin beard? What are you talking? Because I shaved the neck. Well, I did it too high.
Neck
It
beard,
looks like a chin strap.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you call that.
Well, my neck's so fucking big, it just looks like a big fat blob now.
Call it a double chin, probably.
I kind of want to get a goatee going like you. That'd be kind of cool.
2 chins, 2 beards.
1 cup. I want to get like a fucking
Dude, you could
goatee
rock.
like you.
You couldn't rock this though.
It would be fun if like both of us had it, or like 2
We could
goatee
maybe do
looking
that. I'm
dudes.
trying to get a full beard.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to be your beard though.
Your baby face. I have too much beard. I realized, it's mostly my hoe account on Snapchat, but
You have 2 accounts on Snapchat?
well, I had 2, and then I just kept the hoe one. I deleted my regular one, and I posted like a picture of like my like bulge, of like me in underwear, and then I forgot that like one of my friends had one of my friends on it. I saw that he saw it, but I was like, before I deleted it, I was like, oh shit, and then I saw that he saw it. I was like, oh shit, he's like kind of seen my package now. Whoops, inadvertently, put it on my story.
Your package is so small, we could send it in standard mail.
All right.
You could send that bitch with a stamp. You don't even have to fucking buy a shipping thing. 2 stamps. 2 stamps for that
I don't
bitch.
even have to buy
You got a
shipping
2,
thing.
You got a 2 stamp package there, brother. 2 stamp
package, motherfucker.
Mine is fucking overnight Amazon Prime package, baby.
Yeah.
Because they can't wait for this schlong dong silver.
I've been trying to see Blake's dick for like a long time.
Yeah, dude, you never will.
I know. I did once, but
Until I
was too
start,
drunk.
I'm trying to fucking get into this porn industry. I think I got what it takes.
I wanted to do it, but like I didn't want to do it when like my parents were like still alive. But then I'm just gonna be ugly.
Well, they're
so.
getting close. I'd be Blake the Snake, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Blake the Tank with the big ass snake.
When do you think they're gonna?
Your parents die? I don't know, probably 5 years.
Stop. Stop.
God, I keep unplugging. God, we need a new splitter.
I know this thing
Does
keeps
anybody want to
speaking
mail us a splitter for this fucking thing?
And like a couple new microphones. I mean, like we could get one. It's just money. It's no big deal. We spend money on everything else. What do you think about like when do you think shows are going to open up again? Like, who do you think? I feel like it's going to take like someone that everyone thinks is cool to like do a show here for that. Everyone
probably
to
like
think,
Brad Hoshaw. Or maybe Matt Whipke.
You know, like for people to like start doing shows. I know that they've been doing cover bands at the waiting room and shit, but I just
Have
like,
they really?
oh yeah,
Dude, they better
well,
cover those faces.
they're already scheduling a bunch of stuff like for like the summer, but I just like I'm like, when's like the first like show of page turners or like Oliver's gonna be?
I don't
feel
think
like
it will
one
ever
wants-
happen again.
Yeah, I know. I
'cause
feel
the
like
first
no one wants-
person,
it, virtue signaling like killed the music industry.
I think that maybe like the first live performance that Oliver's or Page Turner should have is this podcast live, because we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it's just like it's like we're having a conversation at the bar, but like, you know, just we're recording it.
Yeah, and we don't care about that.
No, I would be the first show back, but no one thinks I'm
You
cool.
would
so
you would take a show anywhere you could get it. You'd play a show at the fucking Slides downtown while it's shut down for construction.
Oh,
at
is
this
it?
point,
Are they ripping up those slides?
no, they're keeping them.
They're keeping the slides. God, ugh. I've never actually been down those slides though.
It's the first thing you haven't been down on.
Oh, what a week. We've had some requests to have guests on the podcast, but no one's like.
And then when we ask them,
Like what day, like when they're available, no one replies. So if you
John
if you want,
Savados, we heard that you wanted on.
Yeah,
Brandon Booker, we heard you wanted on.
yeah, my friend Tom said he wanted on yesterday.
What, Tom?
Bartolome.
Oh, Tom can definitely come on.
Yeah, anytime you want. So, yeah, if you guys want to do it, I mean, we record every Sunday, so just be free on Sunday at some point, and we'll do it, and then we'll put it out, and you can
get
pick the
canceled
topic.
with us.
Yeah, you can pick the topic, and we can all like go in on it. But you know, speaking of that, I
Ben
just
likes
feel
the
like,
racist stuff.
come on, I feel like we haven't been. It's so funny with podcasts. I just feel like it's like, okay, let's see. Let's get the trans thing out of the way. Let's get the you have to get all the things out of the way before you can.
I don't get why you're wearing
establish yourself as-
sunglasses is what I'm just really struggling with.
Let's get into something, so we're not just sitting here shooting the shit the whole time. You want to do a couple news stories, then take a break, and then do the rest of them? Sound good?
I don't see why we wouldn't, Ben.
Well, sometimes we
I'm going to use a podcasting voice the rest of the day.
we do. Sometimes we do a little more than that. So first thing that I want to talk about, maybe the only thing we can talk about before the break actually would be good, is Biden has announced that he is withdrawing all troops from Afghanistan. And then when people ask to clarify, they're like, do you mean like we're going to like withdraw to the war, or like we're going to take every single person out of Afghanistan? He said, we're going to withdraw all the troops.
Let's not hit the second
All the
thing.
troops from Afghanistan.
Well, I mean, probably not a good person to ask what his plan is Joe Biden. Because he has no fucking idea what his plan is.
And also Joe Biden was quoted during the Obama administration saying like, we're getting those troops out by 2011, all of them, you know, and it's just like, it's been so long. But I love how like, so Trump set the day to do it. It was by like May something, and then Biden was like, "Well, no, we're not going to do it on that date. We're still going to do it though, and it's going to
3
be
days
on."
later.
No, he said it's going to be on September 11th. So they're waiting until September 11th so they can say it's the 20th anniversary
I
of the
can't
war.
wait for
and-
another terrorist attack.
I'm like, and then that's whatever. So this is the question I'm going to pose to you is, what do you think the excuse for when we inevitably do stay in Afghanistan and don't withdraw troops, because that's what I think is going to happen, what do you think the excuse for that is going to be?
Oh, it's going to be, we said that we were going to bring all of our troops out on September 11th, and then we got tons of terrorist threats. And then we realized it's a bad idea to announce the day to be the 21st fucking...
Or 20th.
Yeah, the 20th
yeah.
fucking of the actual day it happened.
So I just feel like I feel like you're on the right track, because that's what I think is going to happen too. I feel like it's going to, no matter what, our military industrial complex wants us to be at war constantly because war is very profitable.
Money
and
buying
so
back.
it's like I feel like they're going to come up with any excuse to stay in Afghanistan. I feel like the most obvious one is going to be like the CIA or whoever is going to get a report of
NSA,
or whoever is going to get a report that there's going to be some terrorist attacks, and that's why we have to stay, is because now there's going to be reports of like new attacks and shit.
Storming the Capitol.
They're just going to do that. They're going to use like every excuse to stay over there. But can you believe, like, I mean, 20 years? I mean, that's a majority of both of our lives, you know?
That's more than a majority of mine, you old piece of shit. I'm only 27.
No, I know. It's like
I remember the day it happened. I was in 3rd grade at St. Thomas More.
I was 11, so I was in 6th grade.
Oh, yeah, that's disgusting. Yeah, they wheeled in a... Dude, I went to a Catholic school, and they literally wheeled in a fucking TV and had us watch it.
Really?
Yes.
That's so crazy. They didn't. Our school didn't show us anything. They specifically had all the TVs off, and they said don't show the kids anything. And then some kids like used to go home during lunch. They would go to their home because they lived right by the school, and they would eat, and they'd come back. And I remember one of the kids was like, "There's planes crashed into the World Trade Center."
They let us out early.
And we were all like,
day.
"What's the World Trade Center?" Because
they let us out early that day, and my mom's sister, my aunt Dawn, we went to her house and. I vividly
watched the news coverage.
I vividly remember seeing Air Force One fly over because they said it was the only plane in the sky that day.
It was,
and George Bush went to Bellevue,
except for the ones that hit the fucking thing and all the ones.
Well, yeah, there were probably some other ones too.
But yeah. That is funny because my dad has like a picture from that. Like he took a picture of Air Force One in the sky, like with our old digital camera. And I just remember going home that day and seeing like just like the 24-hour like news coverage, you know, back, you know, it was still happening back then. And just like being like glued to the TV, like what's happening. Because it was kind of like a really scary time just at that moment because no one.
It's kind of like when there's a car crash and
you can't help but look at it.
Driving, but you're also like. Are they dead or what?
Well, and they were like you were like watching people like jump out of the buildings. It was really scary. I mean, like,
I don't like watching that.
Like, think about that as like I can't believe like they showed all this stuff on the TV, but also like when everyone was watching it, you're just kind of like, holy shit, like this is really graphic and like insane, and like those were like the iconic buildings of New York, you know, and it's just like that was a crazy day in history. I mean, like I sound
not
so
just
stupid.
a crazy. I think that is the reason that a lot of the people around our age group are the way they are. Like America kind of lost, the young Americans kind of lost their innocence that
really
day,
early,
seeing fucking people jump out of buildings and planes running into them, and the president yelling out of a fucking bullhorn on top of smothering building materials,
because
and then immediately waging war.
Because back when, like, you know, they had all these other wars, like even like the Vietnam War and stuff, like Americans didn't really see, like they saw like the iconic pictures.
Yeah,
those
far
iconic,
from home.
Yeah, those iconic pictures like helped to sway public opinion to be against the war, but they weren't seeing like, you know, 24-hour footage, like high quality footage, you know, people jumping out of buildings, and like, yeah, it was really like fucked up and kind of like scary, you know.
The first attack on homeland since World War II, Pearl Harbor, but even that doesn't even really seem like America. It's so far.
Yeah. Hawaii just seems like another place. I mean, it basically is. You know, it's like why is that, you know, an American a part of America? You know, it's like so fucking far away, and it's obviously just like a strategic post or whatever. But yeah, I do, just because I was old enough, you know, being 6th grade, like even I wasn't that old, but I could still just, it's so fucking vivid. And of course, you know, that's when we're talking about like Afghanistan, you know, and it's like we had the whole Iraq war, which was like a joke, you know. It's just
all that
so funny to think like it seems so long ago.
It all seems to be overshadowed. This is actually perfect that this got brought up, because I think this year is the 14-year anniversary of when the Virginia Tech shooting happened. And that's the first one that I remember. I wasn't old enough for Columbine.
I was old enough for Columbine.
When Virginia Tech happened, I remember that next day at school we had to do drills of how to hide under fucking tables and shit like that. And then they wonder why like this generation of people are
kind of so neutered
fucked.
and scared and fucked
Well, yeah,
up.
and they all have terrible anxiety problems.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? If you can't even go to a movie and wonder if somebody's gonna. That's why I don't like. I told you this. Alamo. I don't like going to movies at Alamo because when those people walk and they bring you your food in between tables, it just makes me so anxious.
Really?
I have dreams about mass shootings all the time and airplane crashes.
Yeah, I also have dreams about mass shootings. That's funny that you have them about airplane crash though, because it's probably because you grew up with 9/11. That's probably why you like almost like you have like an airplane thing. And and that's the thing too. Like airplanes, I mean, it is like. I don't think anyone denied that it's like kind of viscerally scary when you're in an airplane. I think everyone feels the same feeling, of like, even if you do it a lot, it's still just like you're putting your fate in the hands of someone else.
Yeah, but
and
your
it's
chances
not even like
of dying in a plane crash are so minimal.
I get it, but at the same time, well, now all these pilots are like overworked and shit, all this COVID shit too. I just feel like it's like there's been a lot of stress on pilots. Pilots don't even make that much money. We should be treating these people that fly airplanes with like the utmost respect and shit, and it's just like a lot of them are really underpaid. They have to like get second jobs and shit. I was reading about that, but anyway, about anxiety, like we never had to do those drills when I was in school. We never did active shooter drills. We never did anything like that. And so, but I saw some meme the other day that was like, it was kind of like millennials are the ones that are, it was like too old to have had active shooter drills, but too young to have like nuclear bomb drills or whatever, which is true.
All through high school, we had active shooter drills.
Yeah, I think it was just because I was just, and I always say this too, is like being a gay person, like that whole point in time, like between even my generation and your generation, because I was born in 1990, you were born in 1993, 1994, and like, but even that gap was there. That point in time, like when technology was developed, and just how old,
like the main thing,
just how old we were, the advances that happened during that time were so large that even the difference between like my generation and your generation is this very big gap. Now, so much of the new generations, like not so much, because it was like the cell phone thing it's
like
peaked,
the gap from between like Xanga and when MySpace and Facebook came around.
No, for real. And I lived a lot of time on MySpace too, but it's crazy to think about, like,
would I be in your top 10?
Yeah, probably.
Where do you think I'd be?
You'd be 2 or 3 or something. One or 2 or 3. I don't know, maybe Tom, I don't know.
That's fine. I'll let that happen.
But
because we love you, Tom.
No, it is crazy though. Like that gap is so, those years were so fat. But I'm saying why I said being a gay person was because the thought around like gay marriage and gay people and all this stuff, it was like really, really accelerated during that time. The wrong one. You needed the bottom one is the one that's tight. Like during that time, like when I was in school, there weren't like really any out gay people. And
I made so many gay jokes in high school. Well, and a lot of people won't admit to doing it, but
yeah. I mean, it turned kind.
People act like they're woke their whole life.
It didn't really turn.
Bitches weren't woke.
I was never really a bully, but I didn't stand up for people as much as I think I could have in other times. But I was pretty much openly gay in school. Like my parents didn't know until I was 15, but still, that's still pretty early because I was still like a sophomore in high school.
What did it look like you being openly gay in school?
But I was like openly gay my freshman year and even like my 8th grade year. Like I didn't care, Well, what did it look like? I mean, I got made fun of all the time.
Well, here's something that we've never talked about before. How old were you when you came out?
15.
I didn't know that.
But I didn't. Well, but I like I said, people in school knew I was gay. Pretty much the whole school knew I was gay. My parents just didn't know until I was 15.
So your parents are idiots.
No, I think they had a hunch, but my mom's kind of naive. But
your dad has a hunchback.
My dad lost a lot of weight.
Did he?
My dad.
We talked about this last night.
He weighs like 213 or something, and I'm like almost
he passed it down to the next generation.
I know. I'm almost weighing like 185. Okay, so when I was 15, I made a post on MySpace about. So they used to have this thing in high school called the Day of Silence, and you would not talk for a whole day. It showed your support of the LGBT community because they were like
that went
to
high school with you loved that day when you didn't talk.
Well, no, I'm saying like there were some people who like didn't do it, and I like was like feeling like catty about it, and so I was like trying to call them out. And when I made a post about it, calling them out, and then someone that my mom worked with like found the MySpace post and showed my mom and was like, I think it's about like he said they weren't supporting him, so I think it means your son's gay or something. And so then she asked me about it. So that was like
wait.
Ben, the king of the gay wad. Ben, the king of the gay wad. Ben, the king of the gay wad.
you need to work on getting that angle right the whole time, just like right away. So, okay, were you really asking me about this or not? Like,
Yeah,
were
I
we
was
talking about it? Okay.
I was, but I don't want to. I don't want a fucking autobiography.
No.
Well, you know you're gay. I don't want you to make this a fucking Oscar fucking moment for you accepting an award.
I'm just saying.
If you need to accept an award, you.
I'm just saying it was a lot different. Even when I was a senior in high school, I noticed that there were a lot more gay people who were younger, like freshmen, sophomore. They were all out about it. So there were lots of them, right? So it was like becoming a thing. But even when I was in high school, that's the thing. It was like I was just on the cusp of like this like acceptance thing. So I got like all this ridicule. But I actually did have there were like a few dudes who were like really hard on me in high school. And honestly, I bet they...
No pun intended.
Yeah, I know. I bet they honestly had a hard on for other dudes. Kind of, but there were like these dudes that made fun of me, and actually one or two of them I remember came up to me and was like apologized for it, and it made me feel like so good, like because they were being so vulnerable, like I couldn't believe like these guys were coming up and like apologizing, being like, sorry I made fun of you for being gay when we were like sophomores, like when they were seniors. I actually thought that was really really like noble of these two dudes, the ones that I remember. I should send them like a message on Facebook or something. So I don't have Facebook right now, so that makes sense.
Yeah, you're one of my best friends, but I wish you weren't gay. So,
well, I said I'm on.
Just kidding.
I'm on the trajectory to not be.
Yeah, dude, you're coming up quick. All right, let's smoke.
All right, let's do it. We'll be back in a little bit, boys and girls. Bye.
Welcome back.
And we're back. And we're back.
Podcast.
Do you think anyone gives a shit about this podcast?
I can guarantee you nobody gives a shit about this podcast, man. And if you guys do care about this podcast, I'm going to need you to like it on YouTube. I'm going to need you to rate it on wherever you get your fucking podcasts. I'm going to need you to subscribe. I'm going to need you to join my OnlyFans. Mm-hmm. I'm going to need it all.
I was thinking of doing an OnlyFans.
Nobody's joining.
The second news story that I wanted to talk about was actually at the beginning of this week. The vote was, I think, a week ago on Sunday, maybe on Monday. But
what is it, man?
Well, Amazon workers in Bessemer, Alabama voted to not unionize, even though there was a lot of, people going there not pressuring them to unionize, but kind of pressuring them against it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I feel like if they would have won, it would have been very symbolic, for unionization, unions, workers, around the country. But also at the same time, it's like if the people didn't want to do it, I don't know why everyone's going there and acting like they need to, tell these people what they need. Even though, like, if they had a union, it probably would be a good thing. You know what I mean?
We don't need no education.
Well, and apparently they don't workers' rights too, but it is crazy because Amazon was doing a lot to there were reports that Amazon had contacted like the city, and where there were people stopped at intersections trying to tell people about the unions and give them information like through the cars. They were like at stoplights. They changed the stoplights so they didn't stop as often. Just so people wouldn't be stopped at the...
That sounds like being smart, and we shouldn't punish them for that.
It's like totally manipulation. It's like fucked up, So
manipulation's my middle name.
So obviously they were worried about it, but at the same time, well, then again, it failed. So what can you do, right?
Mask off.
Mask off now. Mask off. Dicks up, dicks down, or what is it? Dicks out for Harambe. But yeah, not too much to say about the unionization effort. Sorry it didn't work out for people who wanted it to work out. But for the people of Bessemer, hey, you voted, so can't fault anyone for exercising their fucking right to vote, right? Another story that I thought was really interesting when this started.
Wait, that was the whole story?
No, just that the unionization effort failed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you have anything to say about that, about unions. I don't know, you work in like a trade, so.
I'm not union.
No, that's what I mean. Like, so I don't know what your opinions on unions are.
My opinion on union, if you want to know, I think unions are good because they kind of control what we can charge.
they kind of set the framework.
Yeah. So that's good, but also they're pricks on like certain jobs where it has to be, well, in certain cities, like I know Vegas is a big union city, Chicago, New York.
Yeah.
They won't let like people that are not union even work in those cities.
Like to do the jobs, yeah. So you like have to join the union and everything.
Yeah,
so I know
pay
like a
your
lot
dues,
of
baby.
I know a lot of people fault unions like for that reason, you know. So I don't know. It almost feels like a big city, small city kind of issue, you know, like to where like it might be more beneficial in a small place, you know, to where they can kind of like set labor practices, because you can't have Amazon come into the city, monopolize all the jobs to where the only place people can work is the Amazon warehouse, and
But
then
you can,
and
because
then
they've
be
done
able
it.
to, yeah, exactly. But then like, you know, they can just set whatever they want for these people, you know. Like I think those people should have a union, be represented somehow. God, my fucking things on here. Okay, good.
Hopefully next time we do a podcast, you don't wear a fucking jacket that's so loud in the microphone. Who wears a windbreaker when they're doing a fucking podcast?
It's a members only jacket.
Dude, you're about to be a fucking member of a different podcast if you don't fucking cool your shit with this garbage ass clothing.
I think you'll like this one a little bit more, Blake. So
Is
when
it
I was
AOC?
no, when I was sitting working one day, I started to get all these push notifications, and it was from like Time Magazine, Washington Post, and I was like, oh, this is like shit I don't normally care about, but if they're saying this, then like, oh, that's actually pretty crazy. So the headline was human monkey hybrid embryo created by joint China and U.S. scientist team.
This sounds like exactly like my fucking porn history. Weird. Did
So-
you hack my Pornhub?
So like they made claim, or they were saying, they're like, this is by no means, we're not trying to grow they came out to be like, we're not trying to grow little, you know, human monkey babies to harvest their organs so we can grow them in people. And it's like, what?
They've already done it with pigs. Oh wait, was that an X-Files thing?
Well, the thing with the hearts, I think what the parts of the heart, they do like pig stuff actually, or they can use pig parts and
Pig stuff. That's another one of my fucking favorite porn categories. BBW, pig stuff.
so
Curvy.
the significance of this, I mean, obviously, besides it being like really fucking crazy, is like I kind of noticed, I was like, created by joint China and U.S. scientist team. I wonder what else joint Chinese and scientist teams.
I wonder if they've
work
ever
on.
experimented with bats.
Yeah, I wonder if they've ever done any tandem like experiments on like really spreadable respiratory viruses. I wonder, you know, what else they're working on.
Well, Ben, I'll tell you they have.
And I also wonder, and so actually Joe Rogan posted something about this today, and he was saying how
He's a racist, sexist, transphobic freak, though.
Joe was saying like, well, you almost wonder like he's like you almost wonder like if they're telling us this, like what other things have been going on, you know, and like what else are they doing right now if this is something that gets leaked. And
Are
he
you
was
making a challenge right now? What are we gonna challenge each other? What
We're gonna
human / other animal hybrid we would most want to have sex with?
like a horse, you mean?
You said it. Horse is your pick.
Well, dude, I mean, after seeing that dude at the gym today, I think he was part horse, dude. He's the thing
God.
was
Well,
that
let
thing
me
hung
think.
low,
I want human.
hung very low.
Yours is human horse. I think that I would want a human / what's something slimy?
Like a rat or like a
What
salamander.
fucking rat have you ever seen that's slimy? I'm not gonna fuck a rat.
You want something that's wet.
A human squid. I'm fucking a human / squid hybrid.
So, but
No, octopus.
Joe also was.
Why are you referring to him in first, like you know him on first name basis? Yeah, Joe. Joe told me.
On his post, it was also like significant to me for this podcast because he said that that Alex Jones had been telling him that they were doing this stuff like years ago, and everyone called him a fucking idiot, you know. And you notice how Alex Jones has like been deplatformed off of like every single social media platform, like kind of, I mean, similar to Trump, right? And it's funny how like, oh, he was right, you know, like
He's
I guess
been
his
right about
sources were
tons of
right.
shit.
I know he's actually like mostly right. It's like except for like the Sandy Hook
Yeah,
thing, except for
that's the problem. He goes like he called out the Epstein shit way before it happened.
yeah, he was talking about them going to this island to fuck children for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, and God, people just
People want so badly to like be on a side that they'll fucking like attack. They'll be an attack dog for their fucking side no matter what their side says, you know. And now our fucking politics is like this. The media's like this too, you know.
Are you gonna go to the Andrew Schultz show here?
Oh, when is that?
The week after my birthday. You could buy me tickets for it.
Well, let's do it.
For my birthday.
Let's do it.
You listened to that episode.
Yeah, that episode was really good.
You know it got deleted.
Is it? I was gonna say, is it already
got
off of
deleted.
YouTube? I bet it would be. That was a really good episode of a podcast, to be honest. I really liked it.
Everything he said was pretty much fucking true.
But yeah, so you know, he was talking about how they were trying to take, you know, human and monkey DNA and combine them, and like, oh, I guess that's what they've been doing the whole time. They created fucking embryos, dude.
Alex Jones was the one talking about the pig. That there was like a human pig fucking.
Well, no,
thing.
they've been taking, I think, like,
Yeah,
do not quote me on this.
No, I know what you're
but like
talking
human
about.
stem cells, putting them into like pig thing, and then like
No, a pig heart is very similar to the way a human heart works. So
Yeah,
they can take the
yeah,
valves
yeah.
and shit.
But
There's like actual shit where you'd have to look it up. Where there was like they tried the same kind of thing, like a hybrid embryo.
keep going.
Human pig.
Come on.
Oh, like the first thing that came up. National Geographic.
2018. In a remarkable, if likely controversial feat, scientists announced that they have created the first successful human-animal hybrids, and that was with pigs.
Yeah, and fucking Alex Jones leaked that.
They can grow. They can even grow inside a host animal. I mean, so first of all, talk about playing God, because
That
that's
is
kind
crazy.
of, it is really crazy, right? But now to do it with the monkey, I mean, because their DNA is so close to ours, right? Or what if they did it with like a chimp or something, I guess. But I mean, that's almost like, you know, that's a new species, you know, like and it's like, oh my God, can you imagine if they would if they would allow that to fucking like oh, that's another thing we can talk about. I just forgot about that. I know. But like. If they like allowed like that to grow, you know, it probably would die, I guess, but
I don't know. Would it die?
probably. Usually when because there are some animals that have DNA that's close enough to where they can still mate, but like when the babies are born, it's really fucked up. Like it's like a horse and a donkey or something, you know, and they can like have sex, but like when it might not be those two. Maybe they can't have
A
babies,
horse
but
and
like
a donkey have had sex, and that's where
like those little horses
Yeah,
come from. So yeah,
like a mini horse.
so not that example, but like other stuff like that. But then when the babies are born, it's like really fucked up, and it's like they just have to like put them down, you know.
I can think of a few people that should have happened to.
So that's another thing that did happen this week. I just remembered because I have two friends, my friend Adina,
You
my
have
friend
two
Eric,
of them? You have two friends?
that both live in
Holy
Minneapolis.
shit.
And so, of course, they had that other shooting in Minneapolis where everyone is all getting all worked up about it. But it's crazy, like, because I was watching CNN's coverage of it, and they were just like, they like made sure to go right down to like this protest, like in the small, you know, Minnesota city, just like the suburb of Minneapolis or whatever, and like just made the whole thing look like it was a fucking war zone, and made it look like it was just like this terrible, like crazy, like chaotic thing. And I was texting my friends, and I was like, is like what CNN is reporting right now is like what is going on, you know? And they're just like, well, I guess like the National Guard's outside, but like nothing's really happening, you know? And so I'm like, oh, okay, so I don't know what the motivation is to make this look like a big fucking, you know.
Well, I think
they want people to riot again.
Well,
was that
everybody
good?
that I've talked to about what happened in what was the name of the city?
Like Mission Central or something.
Yeah, everybody that I talked to, even conservatives, were like against what happened. Like,
I mean, it is really fucked up because it's like, okay, he had expired tags.
That's
or
not.
whatever.
It came out that that's not even the reason they pulled him over.
They said they pulled him over for like an air freshener or something.
in the hood.
And then and that's probably what they said. And then they were like, oh, we need to find some other reason why we could have pulled him over. So let's research deep into it. They're like, oh great, his tags are expired too. Now we can use that as an excuse.
What was heartbreaking about that whole thing is his brother came out the next day and said that because he was on his way to his brother's house to, I think, visit his nephew or his niece.
Well, he was going to get a car wash or something. Like they say
he
all this
was
different
going
stuff.
somewhere, and he was on the phone with his brother, and he was like, I have insurance, but I don't, like, it's under mom's name. I don't have any of the stuff. And then his mom called him, and the mom was on the phone with him when all that happened, and the girlfriend was in the car, and she's the one that reported all that.
Yeah.
Oops. And then also the shit that just happened in Chicago.
What happened in Chicago?
That 13-year-old kid.
I didn't see.
That is fucking... So, his last name I know is Toledo. You should, look it up. He was 13 years old. I think he was special ed kid, and some 21-year-old guy took, this one right here, took him under his wing. The guy shot somebody, gave him the gun, and then he was running down an alley. The cops chased him. He threw the gun over the thing and then put his hands up.
But why was and his hands are up in this picture. Why giving some kid a gun? What is going on? What is going on?
That's Chicago's obviously.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying,
this video.
I don't know how you could fault police for that too. Kind of,
No,
I don't know, but I didn't watch any of it. But
what happened was Monday. The police didn't release the video when this. I don't know if it was Monday. It was sometime at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
And they said he had a gun in his hands, and that's why the police shot him. Then this video came out.
Obviously doesn't.
He doesn't.
Have one.
He puts his hand out or his hands up, and they still shot him.
It's like,
and he's 13 fucking years old.
He's just a little kid, and it's so sad. It's so sad to look at that. Like, I don't even want to see this picture of so. It's like, I mean, that's the problem with America, though, is because the police are so on edge because of all this shit that's happening, and I feel like they think they're targeted or whatever. And I get it. No one wants to feel bad for the police or whatever. I get it, but at the same time, it's everyone's so on edge, And everyone has guns, and they don't know if someone has a gun or not, and so they just
if your
fucking resort to
if your
this
hands
shit.
are up in the air, I don't think you have a gun.
No, you're right. I mean, you're completely right about the situation. I'm just saying, in general, this is fucking.
And the
sad.
same thing with that thing in Minnesota that there are even people defending that Kim Potter or whatever her name is. You've shot a gun before.
Yeah.
We found this out last week or 2 weeks ago. I've shot my fair share of guns. Then they show the taser next to what the gun looks like. There's no way.
They probably weigh different amounts.
They
too,
do. They purposely weigh different amounts. One is neon yellow.
Yeah. One
is black. One has a longer grip, and the way that you pull the
fast,
trigger.
Yeah, how fast are you fucking pulling it too to do that? I mean, that's why would you just resort to a gun when it's I don't know, just obviously a kid too, these kids are 20, 22 years old, 13 in this example, but it's how fucking threatened. I get that if you think someone has a gun, but it's if they're not even pulling it on you and they have their hands up, why are we? Oh my god!
I just don't get. Look at that picture right there. There's no.
That still says it all.
My whole thing is the police department. They are not the judge and the jury. Even if somebody, your job as a police officer is to detain the person and bring them into so the court of law can figure out what happened.
Why are they shooting?
And there needs to be a trial.
And if they don't have
a weapon,
why don't they shoot them in the legs or something?
There's a whole other thing they're not trained to do. I was reading a whole article about that today. That when the police department, when they pull out their gun, they are trained to shoot to kill.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
Which is
stupid.
insane. Well, no, and
It's a 13-year-old fucking kid.
It scares the shit out of me too. You know, like even though like this, I feel like statistically this is not going to happen to me. Unless I'm on some crazy shit, and still it probably wouldn't happen to me because I'm white, or I don't know if I look white. I don't fucking know.
Did you see that video of that 61-year-old dude?
No.
Look that up real quick. Look up 61-year-old man Minnesota video.
Accused of dragging.
In the car. He was hanging on the fucking car with a gun, and the cop just was hanging on the side of the car. See if you can find the video. Probably click that.
Look at this. It said this old white dude, and they just like don't do anything to him because what? Because he's old or something.
And it is way worse what happened in this. Yeah, watch this. You're going to be like, what the fuck?
Oh. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Wait, watch.
Oh, hell no.
He's hanging on the side of the car.
That's insane.
And then you have a 13-year-old that's killed with his arms up.
It's horrible. You know? Like, why do it... I mean, there's really nothing to say about it, you know? I mean, well, there's a lot to say about it, and everyone's said all they fucking can about it.
Did you listen to Tim Dillon this morning?
I did, yeah.
He was the one talking about that.
About that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they came out and what the...
I listened to it last night, but I was really tired, so...
What they were saying, what the Chicago Police Department were releasing, the information about him, they called him Little Diablo. What else did they... It was Little Diablo.
Oh, because
No, like, Baby Diablo.
Little street names or something?
And Little Homicide.
Oh, yeah.
He's 13 fucking years old. Was in special education classes. Got taken in by a 21-year-old.
Well, who obviously wasn't doing him very many favors.
Well, no. But what do you do, like, especially in a place, I'm sure it was an inner city neighborhood, like in Chicago. Like, I'll never be able to relate to that.
Yeah.
Because I've never had to grow up that way. But, like, and they just fucking shot at him. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what do you say about it? Because we deal with this shit all the time. It's almost like they want this to be normalized. I mean, whatever. It's not like anyone has an agenda of like who's going to randomly shoot people, but it's almost like this shit is just like baked into us to be normalized, and it's so egregious and like beyond the pale of humanity, and like other places like don't have to deal with stuff like this. And I cannot believe we're still like having debates about like should fucking people like have all these guns. I just really do think that if police felt less threatened that people had guns, like maybe this kind of shit would go down.
I'm not for taking away guns though. I mean, because all these videos that we've shown so far today, like the third, guns weren't legally.
Yeah, I don't want to play devil's advocate for the police either, because fuck cops and I hate cops. You know what I mean? Like, I hate the people who become cops, but I also think that like cops are necessary for a society, and so we have to have some kind of like a semblance of law and order for us to have a society. So we have to decide what that's going to be. It's not going to be fucking social workers showing up at the case of a rape or something. The way that's not how it's going to work.
The way that I like understood and thought was the best explanation of it was that Jonik Wilnick, you know that guy? Mm-mm. He's been on Joe Rogan a whole bunch. I hate to bring up Joe Rogan again, but he was a Navy SEAL, and they would have combat and stress training every week to handle high stress situations.
Yeah.
And once you're into the police force, I mean, you have guys that are 250 pounds and 53 years old. What defense are they going to have against somebody that's trying to fight them? It's going to be their first defense is going to be the gun.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be the way that it is.
I know, but like people aren't going to want to be police officers after like we have like this culture like this where it's like
No, until
police
you
are like
make-
so hated and shit too.
Until you
know?
make it a fucking force that is respected again, because
that's
it's
what I'm
not
saying.
going to be respected.
I don't think, but I'm saying like I don't think it's going to go back to that. I don't think like at this point we could even go back to that kind of shit because it's insane. Like just the level of like distrust, the level of like disrespect that both sides have for each other too. You know what I mean? Like the police do not have respect for like largely black and brown community. They do not have respect for like the leftist thinkers and shit or
Well, I
people
mean,
pressing.
you have areas where it's
And when we call fucking Omaha police a bunch of cucks and Gene Stothard a whore, fuck the chief of police, you know, like.
but you have areas where the police reflect the community, and I think that is the most important part of it. Like, you can't have a whole bunch of 50-year-old white dudes policing neighborhoods in North Omaha.
Everyone says that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, getting people to join the police, like, what are we going to do about that? Like, how are we going to diversify the force or whatever? Couple more things I want to talk about before we go. So the Daily Beast just posted this article, updated the 15th, which I think was a couple days ago. Yeah, a few days ago. U.S. intel walks back claim that Russians put bounties on American troops. Now,
What the fuck? What? First of all, if you're in war with somebody, shouldn't you put bounties on their troops?
yeah, if you really want to get the job done.
Yeah, but like that just makes sense.
Second of all, this was a huge talking point parroted by mainstream news as why like Trump was like in bed with the Russians and why because Trump was saying that he heard reports from who he was getting his information from, and Trump was like, oh, it's all fake news. So we kept on calling this fake news, and then, like, you know, you have MSNBC and CNN, all these people coming out and saying about how it's so egregious that the president would say this fake news because the New York Times is the one who got this story, and they fucking doubled down and ran with it, even though, like, it was, like, obviously, like, not a credible story. And so I got this kind of from Jimmy Dore, Aaron Mate, people that anytime there's a Russia-related story, they'll always go live and just like look at the facts and debunk it in real time because it's so easy to debunk all this Russia stuff because it's like they want Russia to be our enemy, you know? That's like the narrative that they're trying to spin. But when you look at like the mainstream media, when you look at MSNBC, when you look at CNN, when you look at the New York Times, real journalism is totally dead in this country. Real journalism, as far as journalism specifically catered to hold
Real journalism got fucking murked in a fucking mass shooting 2 weeks ago.
to hold people of power to account. That is completely gone because all they do now is they're just stenographers and they're parroting like the establishment talking points. All that they do, because this whole claim of this Russian bounties thing was based on a claim by the CIA. So the CIA leaked that or like someone from the CIA leaked it to the New York Times. And so it was like our source from the CIA says that they have bounties on US troops. And so then they went all in on the story, but it's like, do you know who you do not need to be hearing stories from? Do you know who you do not need to be taking information from? Maybe the CIA, who is who as an organization
Don't they call that state-run media?
a proven liar. I know, isn't that what like propaganda is?
State-run
like
media.
so it's like you can't be taking press releases from the CIA in order to report a story in quotes of something that someone from the CIA told you. You're supposed to be investigating these claims yourself,
which is funny
to
because
hold power to account.
When Trump was only doing interviews with Fox News and stuff, they were just calling him out. Oh, it's becoming state-run media. But then there's way more places that are.
But they don't do any actual journalism. They just
No,
they
there
would
is
they
no
would
journalism.
They would like to just have press
This
releases from the establishment.
podcast is the last piece of journalism in the United States.
Jimmy Dore had a really good video though, but I won't dig it up. But he posted all these like, you know, snippets of like Rachel Maddow and fucking that fat dude on CNN who's really annoying, and like Wolf Blitzer too, just all being like confirmed reports, bombshell reports. They all use that. They like this new bombshell
Everything's
report from the
breaking news.
you know that this exists, and now all of a sudden the U.S. intel is walking back claims because it was like not credible at all. So that's right. Last thing I wanted to say before we go, this was at the beginning of the week / the end of last week, but we were talking about how 60 Minutes did a piece on Ron DeSantis.
Who is Rod?
He's the governor of Florida, and they did a thing about how he's like taken money from the Publix chain of supermarket stores, which also have like, it's kind of like Baker's or Hy-Vee here, where they have like a
HEB.
or they have like a a thing to like a pharmacy inside it, and so he made Publix like the main site for people to get COVID-19 vaccines.
Who would have thought?
And so 60 Minutes put out this piece on Ron DeSantis, and there was this huge thing where he was doing like a town hall, and one of the reporters from 60 Minutes was asking him questions about why would you pick Publix? Is it because you're getting like money from them or something? And he was like, well, no, actually, like we did a poll with all these people who live in the area, and then all of them said it would be easier to go to Publix, so we decided to do it there. Like he was very like cordial and everything, and like explaining it, and 60 Minutes took all the footage. They fucking like cut out all this shit, and they made Ron DeSantis look like he's like some fucking crazy ass. By the way, I know that the weather is hotter in Florida in general and nicer or whatever, and so like the virus doesn't travel as far. But have you noticed that Florida like didn't give a shit about any of these restrictions, and yet they've had way less deaths than like every single other, like New York, California.
It's almost like they're not kind of like asking the hospitals to report everything that happens as a fucking COVID death.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you got to wonder why that is, right? Well, and
also,
obviously it's warmer down there and everything. But
60 Minutes and all of like these news media groups are now shaming people for the way that they are giving vaccines. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like okay, he's trying to make it accessible for everyone, and people just happen to have a grocery store by them. Like, why can't you just let
like people... like if in Nebraska, if they were at every Hy-Vee, there's more Hy-Vees than any other grocery store in Nebraska. It would make sense for the vaccine to go through Hy-Vee.
I'll play a little bit of Sagar's radar here before we go, just because.
All right, Sagar, what's on your radar? Well, there's been a lot of Florida man news on Rising lately, but today we're going to take a turn away from Matt Gaetz to talk about the ultimate Florida man. That state's governor, Ron DeSantis. Now, regardless of how you feel about Ron DeSantis, I'm going to say this. I think he's probably been one of the most unfairly maligned people in national media since the beginning of the pandemic. The truth is that the media and many people, including myself at the time, thought his open strategy would be a disaster for COVID. And the numbers have simply not borne that out. Florida is not the best in the nation, but it is not the catastrophe that the mainstream media wants it to be. And thus, they have tried to seize on bait.
So anyway, we'll skip ahead to the 60 Minutes part.
He was interviewed and featured by 60 Minutes, right? Yeah, wrong. But actually, it gets worse. DeSantis didn't sit for an interview with 60 Minutes, so they went down to Florida to confront him about it at a press conference. Here's what they played from that segment on their show on the broadcast. Let's take a listen.
We wanted to ask Governor DeSantis about the deal, but he declined our request for an interview. We caught up with him south of Orlando.
Publix, as you know, donated $100,000 to your campaign, and then you rewarded them with the exclusive rights to distribute the vaccination in
So
Palm
first of all,
Beach.
what you're saying is wrong.
How is that not pay to play?
That's a fake narrative. I met with the county mayor. I met with the administrator. I met with all the folks at Palm Beach County, and I said, here's some of the options. We can do more drive-through sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents.
But Melissa McKinley, the county commissioner in the Glades, told us the governor never met with her about the Publix deal.
The criticism is that it's pay to play,
It's
Governor.
wrong. It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts because obviously I laid it out for you in a way that is irrefutable.
Well, I
and
just
so
want-
it's clearly not.
Isn't there the nearest Publix to the Glades is
You're
30
wrong.
miles
You're wrong.
away?
You're wrong.
Wow, okay, so DeSantis just shouted her down. He said he met with some people, 60 Minutes interviewed one person who said it wasn't true, and then he got all Trumpy, and he shut it down. It looks bad for him, right? Yeah, except that's not what happened. 60 Minutes edited down DeSantis' answer to a question in which he actually gave a pretty lengthy explanation of how Publix was not first and how they even arrived at the decision and more. Take a listen to the full, unedited response. It's long, but it's important context.
So first of all, what you're saying is wrong. That's a fake narrative. So First of all, when we did the first pharmacies that had it were CVS and Walgreens, and they had a long-term care mission. So they were going to the long-term care facilities. They got vaccine in the middle of December. They started going to the long-term care facilities the third week of December to do LTCs. So that was their mission. That was very important, and we trusted them to do that. As we got into January, we wanted to expand the distribution points. So yes, you had the counties, you had some drive-through sites, you had hospitals that were doing a lot, but we wanted to get it into communities more. So we reached out to other retail pharmacies, Publix, Walmart. Obviously, CVS and Walgreens had to finish that mission, and we said we're gonna use you as soon as you're done with that. For the Publix, they were the first one to raise their hand, say they were ready to go. And you know what? We did it on a trial basis. I had 3 counties. I actually showed up that weekend and talked to seniors across 4 different Publix. How was the experience? Is this good? Should you think this is a way to go? And it was 100% positive. So we expanded it, and then folks liked it. And I can tell you, if you look at a place like Palm Beach County, they were kind of struggling at first in terms of the senior numbers. I met with the county mayor, I met with the administrator, I met with all the folks at Palm Beach County, and I said,
They cut so
"Here's some
much
of the
out.
options.
I know.
We can do more
Holy
drive-through
shit.
sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. We can do this."
That's where they cut you here.
calculated that 90% of their seniors live within a mile and a half of a Publix. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents.
Holy
So we
shit.
did
And
that.
and he wasn't, and this answer isn't even, they made him seem like he was so aggressive, but his answer is very cordial, and he is giving so much information, and it's kind of what is the point of because 60 Minutes is something you normally kind of trust too, for investigative journalism in a way. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out there, but we are approaching time. I am getting really tired.
Well, you got to go do this musical, don't you?
That's true. I got to be there at 6:30.
This is
So an hour.
episode. This has been episode 12. Or 12, right?
12, correct.
Episode 12 of Circle and Square. I love my my co-host. That's all he'll ever be.
What about your family?
Oh God, they're over. I don't care about them.
What about your little sister?
She told me I wasn't. She was gonna sue me for slander, I think was her exact words. But we love you guys. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back next Sunday, I think.
Yeah, we'll try to make it funny.
In case something tragic happens, I don't know. I might get fucking gonorrhea or something.
I might die. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.